Hey, what's up, guys? Blaine Duncan here from Halloween Lives, the podcast of Michael Myers. Here we are, episode number 14, joined as always by my brother, Austin. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Lots of good reception on the last video, so you can blame me. Just remember that. But yeah, no, it's doing good.
It turned out just fine. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was a fun episode. We got some good comments and some good remarks on it. Somebody even saying that they what was their favorite episode or something like that. So
absurd. Thank you for boosting my ego. Yeah.
No, man, we're at episode number 14. As always, we're just rocking and rolling. We're going to keep this train moving down the tracks, and we are not going to stop this week because we have a super special guest that we're really excited to have on the show. Let's bring him on right now. We're going to be talking with Connor from Creepy Customs. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And I do want to say, before we get going too far, that it would only seem right as the new owner of a pair of your coveralls, the Superior 78s, that I'm going to interview you. I'm going to interview you in the 78s because I want people to see not only am I a brand ambassador for you, but I want people to actually get a look at these things on camera. Dude, these things are sweet. Okay, so I know you saw we did our very own. I'll try not to make too much noise here, but we did our very own unboxing when these came up. And dude, we've had a lot of good comments, a lot of good remarks. And so just so people know, I'm 6'3", going on 6'4", about 215. And this is a size 46. And dude, you told me, you're like, hey, get a size 46. I mean, just like that. I sent you a message. I said, hey, what do I, what size should I get? You're like, dude, size 46. These things fit absolutely perfectly. So awesome. Kudos to you, man. You obviously know exactly what you're talking about. But tell us a little bit about your company, how it got started, and really the idea behind it.
Cool. Yeah. I appreciate all the kind words. So we kind of started, out of my rental room back 2015, 2016. I was like, no one had accurate coveralls. They always had, great masks, all these high-end masks, but then 80% of the body was not accurate to what you saw on screen. And back then, like, no one knew what the coveralls were. The screen use, everyone thought, some people swear they're navy, they're green, they're gray. And then the ball got rolling down the discovery line and people ended up identifying them. And it was a Sears coverall. And I was kind of stockpiling these vintage coveralls. And I was like, I'm going to dye these, make them as accurate as possible and put them up and see if anyone's interested in them. And they sold out in I think 25 minutes. I did a batch of 10, got as close as I could to the tech screen. And I was like, oh, maybe there is some desire, some need for this in this hobby that I've been a part of for 13 years now, give or take.
Good for you.
It's just kind of word of mouth. Ball got rolling. People posted photos telling where he got it. So I was traveling. I was painting buildings, painting huge industrial warehouses all over the country. And I would come home and try to knock out as many orders as I can. And then I just started running out of popular sizes that fit dudes that are 6 foot plus. And those were back then, those are the tall sizes. And those are just almost gone in the secondhand market these days. And I have a little one now. So it was getting harder and harder to travel. So I was like, I could make the leap and just try my hand at just creating these from the ground up. And starting with accurate fabrics, same color string, batch dyeing it like they did in the original factories to get that tech screen color that just is a chameleon color, just constantly changing before your eyes. And I think I made the right decision. I'm on just about to order run number 5. So that's like 250 screen accurate coveralls out there now.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's insane, man. Good for you. I mean, well, and it's funny that you said it because when you call them chameleon, like a chameleon color, they are how they look even on my screen right now.
Crazy.
Is different than how they look on me when I'm in person because there's a grayish, greenish, bluish it's just bizarre. And I think that's something that Austin and I even talked about in our unboxing, that you can't even describe this color.
It's wild. I mean, it took me, I didn't want to really commit to the project until I could have, factory fresh text green Sears Tradewear coveralls. And if you know anything about the vintage coveralls, I mean, 2 hours in the sun, that fabric really starts to drain color and kind of gray out. So, I mean, I have boxes of Tradewear coveralls, and just could not find that fresh color until I did. And then when I did, I was like, game on, we're doing this. Totally. And it's wild, and people still swear that they had behind the scenes photos of blue, it's a blue coverall. And there's rumors that these behind the scene photos that really identify it. I was like, go stand in front of a green wall and those coveralls will be blue. Go stand in front of a blue wall, those coveralls are green. It just, it's wild.
No, they're so accurate. And like, I was huge on like michaelmyers.net, like studying everything back in the day.
Yeah.
When people were really like you're talking about, it was kind of a mystery on what really is the color of them. Because I had heard all sorts of stuff back in the day.
Olive green, spruce green, navy.
Yeah, you had guys kind of wearing like shiny green coveralls for a while, and
there's the ones that have the herringbone, they have the muted, like the same monochromatic, but just pinstripes of the different color green.
Yeah, it was the Wild West back in the day, so it's super nice to have you as like kind of the go-to accurate coveralls. Do you have any sort of background in fashion or sewing, anything like that?
So I really kind of stemmed from doing makeup. I worked at a haunted house, a Halloween store, from like age 15. Actually, I got the job the day Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 came out. I was like, if you're still setting up that Halloween store after the movie's out, we're going to stop and see if they give us jobs.
Awesome.
And that just really started. I was like, God, these costumes are not good, and I just made my own. Got a Sears Roebuck. It was green. I was like, that's as close as we're going to find.
Yeah, no, totally.
So it really just stemmed from making fabric costumes for myself for like a young age. And then the Halloween store led into doing makeup for haunted houses. And I eventually took over and did 30 costumes in 2 hours and had to have a full head to toe makeup, blood costume. So I really just kind of got my foot in the door, and then just really word of mouth and people just appreciating what I'm trying to do and working my way to screen accuracy.
Well, so let's talk about screen accuracy for a minute, because you obviously studied in great detail the photos, the video, the footage of the film. What was that process like? Walk us through that, about trying to figure out exactly where just the most minor little detail you would find on these outfits.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to give, credit to some of the old OG forum members who really have been diving deep for decades now. And just know it could be Big Macs, could be that. So I have a buddy, Barry, who literally went out and eBay hunted all these old vintage Sears catalogs just to check, in 1973, they offered these colorways and that look like that photo. And he just chipping away, and he finally found the year that had it and uploaded information. And me and Barry hit off a friendship, and he actually ended up doing the creepy customs logos for me as well, and the packaging for the coveralls, all inspired by those catalogs he got. So it was kind of a amalgamation of information dug up, and then just my hand having all these different Sears coveralls in my hands. I'm like, that's accurate. That's what everyone thinks they see. It's just really just getting hands-on, owning 20 different styles of coveralls and figuring out what looks the closest. And then eventually they found the Sears Tradewears, and that's when the hunt really started to find that suit.
That's cool. And so how many different this is obviously more in the Superior 78s, but how many different coveralls do you carry or sell? I mean, I know you have a variety of them. How many do you actually carry?
So I have in stock, I probably have 300 suits in this house.
Wow.
So yeah, I just try to have, if someone were to come to me, either shorter and a stocky build or tall and lanky, I have to have suits for everyone. So every movie has a different suit, and I try to have every size for that movie suit.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you look at Rob Zombie movies, the suits come in every two sizes. So 40, 42, 44. So I try to have, multiples of each.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. And are you carrying every single movie, or are you just carrying, you are?
Every suit for every film.
Wow.
And so I have either the screen accurate coveralls used in the movie, the accurate base, or I have my replicas that I, custom designed to be screen accurate.
Awesome. Is the H1, is that I gotta think it's the hardest one for getting the actual
yeah. Well, the H1 is definitely like the holy grail. If you have a good looking Sears Tradewear tech screen, with the full elastic 360 waist, the squared pockets, the pocket flap, the whole button enclosure. I mean, that's, if you were to find that, I think there's under 10 that have ever surfaced, and I've had two of them.
Wow. That's sweet.
I actually traded one of them back when they were first discovered for like a JC H1, James Carter H1.
Nice.
And,
that's sweet.
I mean, the one I found to make the template, it's not in good shape anymore. I had to kind of destroy one and take it apart and get all the correct measurements. So I don't even have one for myself anymore. I'm using my own replicas. Sad day. I had plenty of the fabric to make more, and I have all the measurements and everything recorded in the templates, but I don't even have one out for myself. I sacrificed it for the hobby.
That's what I was going to say, is you sacrificed it so that others like myself can enjoy it. And that's, dude, I cannot tell you how much I love these things. Like, I am so blown away. We've got some conventions that we're going to be going to this fall.
Dude,
and absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did a post a couple weeks ago, last week or something, I tagged in it. I was in this room, and I had them hanging on the door, and I was just like, God damn it, those things are sweet. I had to take a picture and I had to post it because it's just, they're so awesome. I mean, you just do such a fantastic job with them. And how long would you say that it takes, if you were to take a pair of the 78s and you were going to make it a screen accurate from start to finish, what does that look like for you design wise? How long does that take you?
So I try to do it in batches. That's kind of why my wait list is a little bit longer, is because, if I had to do every suit in the order it came in, so I would be, dyeing a Rob Zombie suit while airbrushing a H1 and throwing oil on it, Mm-hmm. So I kind of do it in batches. So I can knock out, 10 78 suits once I get them on the hangers in a week or so. But so I kind of ship in batches. So like this week, I'm going to ship like 5 78s and probably 5 or 6 new trilogy suits.
Awesome.
So cool.
It's weird. It kind of just like evolved into a job. It's wild.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, and I got to imagine, like, it is nice to have these new movies where they're using coveralls that existed, 10 years ago versus
recently, and then and then they discontinued them.
Right? Yeah. What's up with that? I mean, you can't get the boots anymore. You can't get.
I don't know. They're crazy. Workrite was bought out by Bulwark, and they essentially shelved most of the coveralls to sell Bulwark coveralls using the Workrite fabric, and then Workrite pretty much switched over to primarily like work shirts and pants. So they really just shut down most of the Workrite division, and I think the movies like bought them out. Like they bought hundreds of suits. I feel I don't know if you've seen the behind the scenes photos. There's racks of like 50 charcoal coveralls.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm trying to find them. I know where a couple of them are.
The actual screen used.
I want to put it on my wall.
Hell yeah, dude. If anybody deserves to have like screen used coveralls, it's 100% you. I mean, that's I just can't. Your collection, obviously, you can see Austin and I have our own collection, but your collection looks like it's far and above what we have. And
a decade in the works. I've probably had Halloween 1 through 8 masks 3 times and sold them off, and finally resting on a collection that has everything from the sequels have lineage to the screen used masks.
Oh, really?
So
cool.
That was kind of always a goal, and I finally accomplished it last year.
That's sweet, dude. That's awesome. Is there a certain pair of coveralls that they're your favorites to make, or you really enjoy doing them? Because there's obviously a wide variety in from film to film, but do you have a set that you're like, dude, when somebody orders one of these, I can't wait to get started on it?
Well, I don't want to say they're all getting mundane, but I definitely the Work Right Halloween Ends coveralls with the mold and everything. Yeah. That's closer to my ballpark. Like the 78 covers are a lot of fun because you do like the simulated wrinkles, the oil stains, the nicks, the tears, and stuff like that. But I really gotta get like messy with the new movie suits. I just splashing blood up and down it and leaving it out and getting it moldy in the back alley and stuff like that. But that's just more fun because my dream job probably would have been a makeup effects artist. So getting to get down and playing with new materials on fabric and figuring out how I can adhere it to the fabric. And then once it's on, making it like refining it until it looks accurate to something it's not.
Right.
Well, I think it's interesting you say that because you almost are to the collector, to the fan, like this Tom Savini FX guy. Like I'm on Discord of Michael Myers and all these different groups, and I swear to God, I hear your name all the time. Like you've become like a legend in this community.
It's weird. I don't want to say that I don't want to be like boastful or prideful in a way, but it feels nice to like something that I care so much about that I've able to like carve my own little like niche corner.
Totally, dude. Yeah. You should be proud. You should be proud.
I can always improve. And that's what I'm always trying to do. Like every Halloween Ends suit, I'm like, oh, this is better than the last one. I want to message those dudes back there and be like, hey, send that back to me. I want to keep working. I guess that's not a way to run a business, but I do offer free touch-ups to past suits too. You cover the shipping to and from, but I'll if I've learned more tricks, if I've seen new things behind the scenes, I'll add it to someone's suit from the past. Just I want people to have showcase cosplay competition ready stuff.
Oh, that's cool. And I mean, it also, number one, you should be proud of what you're doing because it's freaking badass, and nobody else out there is coming anywhere near as close to what you're doing. But I mean, you should be proud because it's such a iconic, film and franchise, and the fans are so passionate about it. And for them to, like Austin said, I mean, you go on to any of the forums and you're like, hey, I want to do a Michael Myers cosplay. Boom, right away. You got to talk to Connor, Creepy Customs. He's the guy, and it's so good for you. I mean, I think that's so cool. You did mention something that I wanted to point out. So, you're talking about splashing blood and doing that kind of thing. Do you ever have your neighbors outside, like the Johnsons, are looking over at you like,
so
what's this guy doing?
Literally, that can probably, they have their porches are high. I can probably see over their fence into my yard, and they just moved in, 2 houses in a row, new neighbors last 6 months, and I'm out back. Like I have a limited space in my little shop, so like when I have some suits that I think are done, I'm gonna throw them outside and dry if I can. So there's times that I have an entire wall of suits drying outside. I'm like, no one's watching, right? Get out here and pull these inside in the dead of night.
Right. Well, that's awesome.
It's gotta almost look like the end of 78 where he's just like laying there in the grass. Yeah.
Yeah. Just dirty. Yeah,
that's awesome. No, when you were talking about that, like being out in the back alley or whatever, I was like, I wonder what his neighbors are like. What's this dude doing? He's after something, right? He's splashing blood and he's doing the whole deal. But no, dude, it's so fantastic seeing what you do, and like I said, you should be super proud of it.
Thank you.
Talk to us about the series, the franchise a little bit. When did you first watch Halloween? And was Halloween 78 the first one that you saw, or did you see it was? Okay.
I grew up not kind of religious, but like my parents were pretty anti R-rated movies, and so I'm going to be 32 soon. So I watched the first one when I was 10 on Halloween night. My mom was like, all right, you can watch one of my favorite movies, and it's a pretty tame R-rated movie, and still got the whole did you get my beer hand over the eye cover?
Right. Yeah.
And that kind of just really kicked it off because that was the first movie that scared the crap out of me. That next year I was like, I got to be Michael Myers for Halloween, and that kind of really started off this kick of I got to find these movies, I got to watch these movies. But I mean, I couldn't bring him into the house. So I had like, old Fast and the Furious 1 on VHS with Scream 2 shoved up inside of it. And then
contraband.
Eventually it just was like, my parents got so many calls from the movie rental place. They're like, it's fine. Let him rent it.
Right.
And I just really started a collection. I had all the DVDs, and I started buying the Freddy vs. Jason, NECA 2-piece, and that really is where it started there. But Halloween was always, the first and foremost for me.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yep. Well, I mean, it's just funny, like hearing other people who are obviously super into this. We kind of all have that first moment with the series.
Yeah, and it's crazy. The girlfriend and I just went and saw 78 for the first time in theaters. I've seen it at the drive-in, but I've never seen it actually in a theater until last month, I believe. Excuse me.
Awesome. You've done something that I've never done. I've never seen it. They haven't played it anywhere around here that I know of, but what a cool experience.
Literally just a local horror buddy's like, dude, they were playing it tonight. And I was like, we're going. We got to go.
Yeah, you got to go. That's worth the drive. That's like if somebody said 2 hours away, they're playing Halloween 78 in a theater, I would be on the road, like going. Really?
Yeah. No.
I was going to say, well, so it's funny that you say that because I actually just read something on Instagram about someplace doing some sort of 3D Halloween. And I was trying to figure out if it was real or if it was fake, because I would think there'd be a lot to that. So when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe that's what you saw.
I know that they did the IMAX showing last year, and I've seen like the IMAX, poster, the reissue of the poster, but that'd be crazy. I mean, I don't know if the fans would allow it. I think they would be up in arms.
Right. It would be weird. I
went and saw Scream in 3D, and that was, added nothing in my opinion.
Right.
Do you have out of all of them, and we'll talk about David Gordon Green, the trilogy here in a second. And if you're part of the club that loves David Gordon Green or hates David Gordon Green, it doesn't matter. We're everyone is welcome on this podcast. Okay. Awesome. Good deal. What's your favorites out of the whole franchise? What are your favorites?
I would say I'm a big fan of the 1-2 H2O timeline. I mean, you have to kind of push your imagination a little bit. Oh, she got out to California, and Michael Myers can drive all the way to California. I've driven from the Illinois border to California, and it's a long drive. But I just have such a warm feeling from watching 1 and 2 back to back. That's just such a childhood memory of mine. But I really enjoy. I might take some crap. I really starting to enjoy even more Halloween Ends. It's something so fresh, and I'm sure I'll get some messages later. But it was a fun.
Dude, you're in good company here, because Austin and I we've talked about it on several of the episodes. Now we're big fans of Halloween Ends, and we did our ranking, and Halloween Ends ranked in the top tier of both of our lists. And I think Austin was the one who said it, and I agree with him 100% that Halloween Ends will probably age well over time, similar to how Halloween 3.
Since I saw it, it will age much, much better. And I think it'll age probably fan favorite faster. Not fan favorite, I don't know yet, but it'll come around faster than I think Halloween 3 did. I mean, Halloween 3 is so popular now, but I think Ends, give it 5-10 years, people will be like, it's in the top 5 at least.
I gotta think so. I mean, it's such I think even if you're a hater, I gotta, to me, take it outside of Halloween. I think it's still a good movie outside.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could I watched all the special features on Halloween Ends on Vudu before it came out. And I was like, I see more where they're going for it. I mean, every film can kind of stand on its own leg. And that's what you almost want of a trilogy. You don't want a weak part in the middle or towards the beginning or end. And everyone's going to say the ends is weakest. But I mean, as a film, it might be the best film of the 3.
I'm with you all the way, man. I totally agree.
Cinematography, suspense, not knowing where they're going to go with it. I mean, you haven't felt that in Halloween film in a long time.
The thing is that the way that I look at Halloween Ends is there is a story behind the story in Halloween Ends. And that's really something that we haven't gotten in any other films, because every other film we get, every other film that we've had, it's really Michael chases after the girl, right? Michael's after the girl. He's the shark. He's there to eat. This is a different story. And we've talked about it that, there were some people who didn't like that there was the love story angle and obviously the Corey Cunningham character, but they made a movie, like a legitimate movie, and there was a story there. And I appreciate that. I understand why people don't like it. I get the reasoning for why they don't like it, but I dig it, man. I think it's a great film.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I really love the contrast of evil can change shape. That was what the whole plan was with the series, is that every film is going to be a different Halloween film, all about some sort of evil force on Halloween night. And I'm okay with, sticking to the roots while getting some more Michael Myers. Right. Maybe an ending to the story. Who knows what they're going to go. But as a film, definitely I would say top 5 for me of the series.
I have to agree.
I haven't done a ranking in a long time now.
Yeah, hell yeah. So you gave us Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and then H2O. Give us your bottom 3. What are the 3 that you're just not? You're kind of like you like them like we do, but they're not your favorites.
I'm really not. I just can't get behind the theatrical or unrated Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I just. His Halloween 1 is growing on me, but at just the moment we were half exposed face, I was just out, And
he's talking. He's
grunting, talking, and it's just he's trying to stay original, but Michael Myers to me is the mystique. It's you don't know rhyme or reason. It's just an evil force behind some eyes, And to get the whole backstory, it's just unnecessary for my taste.
Absolutely agree. I got to ask, where do you think? I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier. Where do you think it's going after this?
Ooh, I think we'll get like a limited series or something like that. That would probably explore not the anthology, but maybe like a overarching Michael Myers story with sub stories going off, exploring to see how people react. But it's going to have to be someone ballsy, I don't think we'll get it for another 5 years at least.
Yeah, we've talked about that too. I really think I agree with you 100%. I think they need to reset the franchise because they just killed Michael off in Halloween Ends. There's no coming back from the meat grinder, right? Yeah. So how do they do that? Well, go ahead.
In the corner with having a 60-year-old Michael Myers.
Right.
Realistically, you can only carry that on for 10 years. Right. Maximum, so I think they should take it back to its roots, have this a character-based story about kids openly discussing the themes of Halloween, the do's and the don'ts, the urban legends of their area, and then a fucking psychopath shows up in a mask.
Love that.
I mean, it's so simple. It just make you care about the kids, and then unleash hell the last 30 minutes of the movies. I mean, it's a simple stock formula, but it works so well. And the thing we just don't care about characters in most slashers these days. It's you have 30 characters to kill in a movie. You're not going to give each character more than 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah. It's very true. And I think that's the sort of the simplicity maybe of horror movies and then why some people look down on it because they're just too simple. And it's like, but I think that's why we love them because you don't have to change the idea behind Michael Myers. We want to see a movie where Michael goes out and kills people. And there's this awesome, storyline and it's Halloween and you get the nostalgic feel and I mean, everything like it doesn't take a lot to come up with that.
How great would it be just to have essentially a Halloween 4, and it's not Halloween 4, but the 4th Halloween film, or just call it Halloween Night or Halloween the babysitter murders or something like that, and just like teenagers babysitting, dealing with trick-or-treaters, dealing with pranks, and then some they're watching the news, get an alert on their phone, Apple News tells them, hey, in your area someone has been spotted, and then just let the suspense build up from there. I mean, you could have someone in the background, how Laurie stalked the whole beginning of the movie. He's just standing there. Do that shit. That's scary. Those are the iconic scenes from the movie. Those are what last. Give us more of those.
Agreed. I
I
would love
completely agree. I think where your head is at, like keeping the mystery. Don't dive too deep into Michael. Dive deep into the characters.
We don't even need to know that he was in prison for murdering someone. It could just a murderer has escaped. That's scary. Mm-hmm. If it's in my neighborhood, even scarier.
Right.
I think the simpler the better. I've always thought like a good Friday the 13th film would just be cabin weekend, and all of a sudden somebody's in the cabin killing everybody.
Exactly. You know? Cabin in the woods, Friday the 13th.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, have you thought about expanding outside of? I know I saw a post something maybe about a shirt or something like that. I mean, are you looking at expanding outside of just Halloween?
Yeah, so I've been on the hunt lately for some screen accurate shirts. I'm still on the hunt for a Friday the 13th Part 2 shirt. I have a lead on some, but the guy doesn't want to give them up. But I did just recently get a Part 3 and a Part 4 Jason shirt. So I am talking with the same factory that we produce my coveralls, and we have started the process of sourcing the fabric to do screen accurate shirts. So I'm hoping
you're going to be the guy for everybody.
Well, I'm just hoping. I want to eventually get to just, ready to ship options. I have just, 100 shirts already weathered, just toss them in a bag. And then if I can do that and expand to that point, I just need a lot more hangers, really.
Dude.
But I would just love that. And then I can lower my prices on everything, because it's not, you don't have to wait a month and I don't have a queue of people waiting and messaging me. I can just have an Etsy shop or something like that, because everything's done by hand now.
Well, and that's true, because there have to be, I at least can think of a couple people who are, I guess, competitors in a way to you. But I mean, your product is just so well known that it's like, I mean, even I think about, there's a lot of Halloween fan films that are on YouTube. There have to be people who've used your coveralls in fan films, correct?
So yes, I have a Halloween Ends suit that is being used for filming a fan film right now. And then I'm actually in talks with a pretty big Halloween fan film to be providing their coveralls for their film.
Nice, dude. Awesome.
Yeah. So, and I am actually before I was talking to you guys, I was on the phone with the factory. So we're going to ramp up and get those sooner than later.
Awesome. Good for you, man.
And then, so there's at least 2. And then I believe that one was used last year.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's got to be pretty cool just to see your work up on the screen, obviously.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. The one that just reached out just recently is a pretty well put together production, and cool. It's a sequel. So I don't know if you guys know of any of those.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I've heard some rumblings about some of those related. You're talking specifically to Halloween Ends?
So there's a Halloween Ends that's like an in-between movie. It's like 2 years after Halloween Kills. And then there's a 78 sequel. It's going to be using the 78 suit. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for that. And I'm hoping to do some gore for it too. That would be great too. That's my favorite.
You're really getting your Tom Savini bag if you do that.
I have Tom's autograph right there.
Nice.
That's awesome. No, it's such a cool story, man. I mean, it's so cool to hear, really where you came from, and then obviously to just hear how you built up your company. And like I said, you're the best in the business. I'm wearing them right now. I've got the proof, here in front of me. And number one, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure speaking with you and getting to chat with you. Where can people find you at, and give us, any Instagram handles, Facebook, anything like that?
I'm definitely most active on Instagram, but I do have a Facebook as well. There's going to be an Etsy coming later this year, but Instagram _ Creepy Customs, just one word. And then Facebook, I'm just under Creepy Customs Coveralls. And then awesome. I do everything via Insta messaging. Everything's done custom ordered, personable, and say hello.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. And I got to say too, before we let you go here, is that when I reached out to you, you got back to me like immediately. And the second that I placed my order, the customer service that you provided was fantastic, I guess is my point. You did such a good job with that.
I've been on the receiving end of, placing an order, giving someone your hard-earned cash, and then just not ghosting, but just communication falls off. And you ask a question, you have to wait weeks for a response. And I just see it as, people are trusting me, a stranger on the internet, with their hard-earned money to provide them something that they care about. I'm going to respond as fast as possible. Simple as that. We're going to be friends too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, that's awesome.
Well, it is kind of part of the fandom or the collection is like, you send your mask out or you purchase a mask from an independent creator. Sometimes you don't hear from them for months, and like you're saying, it's part. People are busy, but it is kind of like nice to just have that security of communication.
The people that know that my inbox is always open, they don't abuse it, but it is always open. I will say that, and people are generally great. You have impatient people, but they're just excited, and it's cool that they're excited that I'm gonna make them something, and I can't be upset about that.
Yeah.
Some people get so upset that people are wondering on the status of their orders and everything like that. And I'm like, they want to know what's going on with their money. They want to see your process. Like, I'm not going to give you all my tips and secrets, but if you want some photos along the way, I got you.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I know with mine, I think you had told me it was going to be 4 weeks, and it was literally like 2.5 weeks later. You were like,
caught it at a good time as I was starting a new batch.
Oh, well, there we go. That was perfect. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Connor, dude, you are awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Guys, make sure you check out Connor at Creepy Customs. Hit him up on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it might be. I cannot tell you, stress enough, you need to get yourself a pair of these. Hit Connor up. He'll take good care of you. Yeah, man, it was a pleasure having you on.
New trilogy sheets dropping this spring. I'm going to have a 3-pack with 3 knives, screen accurate knives for each film.
Nice.
And all 3 hand coverings.
Oh man, I'm gonna be hitting you up soon, man.
Blowing off fingers. You're gonna have the bandage glove, and then you're gonna have the moldy rotten glove, all included with your 3 suits.
Oh, amazing! Awesome.
I don't think I've discussed that anywhere else yet. By the way,
breaking news.
Breaking news on Halloween Lives, the podcast of Michael Myers. Dude, that's fantastic. That is going to be a huge hit.
I'm hoping to have competitive pricing with the original work rights.
Wow.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, like it's a good thing your DMs are open because I will be sliding in.
Take my money
very soon.
I'm gonna try to do like a time drop how I did the first batch of the 78s. Email is going to be the best way to go in. And then depending on how well those sell, I'm going to try to reorder and just keep it in stock and keep them flowing out.
Man, amazing. That's so cool. Yeah.
Well, you'll hear from me and, any government agencies trying to track down my money where it went shortly after that.
Straight to Creepy Customs.
Taxes. It's not fun being self-employed these days, I guess.
I bet not. All right, dude. Thank you so much. Everybody from Connor, Creepy Customs, check him out. Hit him up on Instagram. Thank you, Connor.
Talk soon. Be safe.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Oh man, that was awesome. We've talked about this before, but it's always just so cool to talk to other horror fans, like-minded Halloween fans, because there's something about this community. We've talked about it before, that it's just like everybody's just so cool. Everybody's just laid back, ready to bullshit, ready to talk. And I loved hearing. It sounds like his sort of his favorites and least favorites of the franchise, very much in line with where we're at as well.
No, that's we'll have to ask him at some point if he's going to be at H45 because
we should have asked him.
I'd love to, chat up with him some more. But yeah, no, super cool guy. I think like in my head, it's you're talking with somebody who delivers a product, but they're also super passionate about that product. I don't know. It's really cool because we can get, we can nerd out about this stuff. And obviously he can too. By the way, how's the temperature over there?
Dude, these things, they're wonderful. Go buy yourself a pair. But we're from Minnesota. We're having a heat wave from Minnesota. We've had like winter for the last 14 months, and it's like 75 degrees here right now. So I am actually going to take these things off because I'm sweating and I don't want to ruin them. I don't want to get like pit stains on these things. So thank you for reminding me, because I am going to take these off. Even though I love them, I would wear them all the time. I would wear them to walking down the street, Target. Dude, these things around Halloween time are going to get a lot of, it's not just going to be Halloween that I'm wearing these things. I'm going to just creep around my neighborhood and weird the neighbors out. I've got some new neighbors that just moved in, and I'm going to be that guy. I'm gonna totally be that guy.
Well, that's when we were talking with him about like the neighbor stuff. Yeah, I had to go back to, I figured out I wanted to do a Halloween Ends costume, and like a week later I had my event that I wanted to do it for. And I was out in the backyard with a pair of Amazon coveralls with like 2 jugs of blood and just splashing it. And my neighbor came out and my hands were covered in blood down to the elbows. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? And
it was like the scene in Trick or Treat. And he was like, hey, what the hell are you doing over there?
Yeah. Well, and I just, I lifted him up and showed him, and he's like, all right, nice, man.
At least it was around Halloween time. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I could see if you were doing it like him, like you're doing it all, 365 days a year, and you're out there splashing blood. I could see your neighbors being like, what the fuck? But
oh my God,
everybody's got to have a career.
I was lucky that it happened then, because like, if you saw recently, I put up the rehaul video. I'm doing this stuff in the middle of April as well. So, yeah, you're right. I was lucky that that happened in October.
Yeah, so let's talk about that rehaul video, because we just got it posted here in the last few days. And so walk us through that. I mean, I know you have been big in like the rehaul world. You've done several masks. You've got masks obviously behind you right now that you've touched up. You've done a couple. How many have you done for me? I don't even know. Like 2 maybe? I don't even know. Yeah,
I need to do better and be a better brother.
I need you to do this one. I need you to do my ends, because this is just a stock ends. Like I got that at Spirit, but I need you to like make it better. That's going to be the one. But we talked about this. I just got a boogeyman, a Tots boogeyman, and that's going to be, I've got this one here, which is the kind of the holy grail mask for me. But I really wanted a boogeyman because I like the looks of that. But we're going to do that one as well.
Yeah, no. I've got a airbrush ready to go. I want to do some testing because like the 78 is like so subtle. I think you can go way too subtle with it, but even those look better than the ones that are a little too kind of rough. Yeah, no, I basically, when we had set up this podcast, so now like almost 3 months ago, I had went and set up the Halloween 2018 mask in the background. And the last couple of months, I've just been looking at it like, damn, I know I can do better than that. So I kind of wanted to show how I do it. There's so many great, tutorials online, and I am one guy in a big ocean of people that have done a rehaul of the 2018 mask. But I just wanted to kind of show basically how I do it, and I do it pretty much for the cheap. Everything was off Amazon. It was a lot of fun. I'm moving on to the kills here pretty quick. Have to kind of get some supplies for that. And then obviously I'll be finishing off the series with probably that ends, because you can kind of tell, Jesus Christ, I can never get the right finger. But I got the Halloween ends. Well, exactly that. But I got the Halloween ends behind me, and I just did that one in the last October. Again, I had like a week span to do it. I would like to do it over again with a lot more time on my hands. But I think starting from scratch with the just the stock right off the shelf, right behind you there. So for anybody watching the podcast, if one day you see the ends is missing behind Blaine, it's going down.
That's where it is. Yeah, dude, it was awesome to see. Obviously, you did an awesome job with the video and editing it, and it's just what I liked about what you did was it was a step-by-step process. Like you see a lot of people who will they'll show the final product, like they'll show the beginning and then the end. But I love the fact that you had this step-by-step process, and you obviously walked through not only how you're doing it, but then you're really kind of in a way giving people a step-by-step guide to do it themselves. And the thing is like I truly feel like and I mean this, I don't have the talent that you have to do this kind of stuff. So not just anybody can pick up a set of paintbrushes and some hair and do that kind of thing. Like you're giving them that option, right? But it still takes somebody with a lot of artistic ability, or somebody like Connor who has the time and that attention to detail, which I just don't have. So you do an awesome job with this, and that's why when like with my boogeyman, I want you to rehaul that because I know that you're not going to shit on it. You're going to do a good job with it, and it's going to look very screen accurate by the time it's said and done.
Well, thank you, brother. No,
brotherly love.
I think there's genuinely just like probably some sort of chemical imbalance, or some disability that I have where I just focus extremely hard on details. But even so, there are just guys that I look up to like crazy, that I don't think I hold a candle to, but I definitely try to do my best. And it's funny, you see in the video, one of the pictures I show of the recent or the older rehauls I had done was actually the one that you have in that room there. And that was literally, I think I did the rehaul on that.
Oh, that's my 20. It was in my 2018, right?
Yeah, I think that I did the rehaul for that before the movie actually even came out. It was just the mask was out. If I think that was how it was at the very least, there was very little, screenshots for reference, but it definitely has come a long way. So I owe you a rehaul.
You owe me a rehaul. Give me a totally. Oh, that's delayed. You got to be way quicker on the dial. Give me a totally.
Totally.
You're still slow on the dial. Give me a goddamn totally. Now you interrupted me.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
So we did add some audio effects into our program here, but god damn it, you got to be quicker on the dial. If I say give me a totally, you gotta give me a. There you go. That's better. You got to constantly have your finger on the mouse.
Well, and there, I think there's like a slight delay. So I have to like anticipate your thing here.
Right.
So
yeah, we'll have to come up with like a code word or a little hand signal or something.
Let you know that you got to be ready and locked and loaded. But we've been talking about having like a soundboard, like an actual physical thing for a while. But it turns out the lovely program StreamYard that we use to broadcast our podcast from has it built in. I'm just an idiot. Bad executive producer.
Bad executive producer. But he's, it's funny because I was thinking about this today. It's like going back to kissing your ass on being talented and me not being talented. I envision things. I'm like, dude, we need to do this. Like this is gonna be fucking sweet. We need to do this. And you're like, bro, I got you. And then like 20 minutes later, you send me some video. Like last week's episode, we did sort of this, how do you kill Michael Myers? Like what's the best way to kill him? How would you do it if you were in your own movie? And you came up with that video game, and that thing was badass. So I'm just like, I'm kind of like, I'm like your PR guy maybe, or I'm like your, what's that called when they like somebody who, not a fluffer, somebody who like gets, I'm your prostitute. No, I'm like your guy who's like, you're trying to amp up the crowd for you. And I'm saying, hit Austin up. He wants to do nothing but work nonstop on any projects that you give him. Hit him up because he will gladly work for you for free and get whatever work you want done. I mean, that's how he works. Plus he's rehauling masks. Plus he's doing the podcast. Plus we're trying to like live life.
No, that's very bottom priority. But thank you, man. No, I genuinely think just like not having a huge amount of friends who were into the same stuff as me when I was growing up. You
could have just stopped as huge amount of friends. You'd have been fine there.
Basically, I just didn't have a lot of people around me who cared about me growing up.
You're literally talking in your basement right now about horror movies on a podcast, and your friends are out doing friend things. That's okay because I'm not in my basement, but I am doing the same thing. So it's all right.
I had to text them, and I usually do. I'm like, hey guys, gonna be recording, so I'm not just talking to myself in my room.
Yeah. P.S. Keep it down.
Yeah. No, they're actually pretty good about that. But yeah, it's it's kind of been, again, kind of going back to like something we talked about episode 1 of the podcast is like, it's something that's definitely in our wheelhouse of like things that we can do. And to throw the credit right back at you, let's just jerk each other off right on this episode, man. I don't think this podcast could work without your like hosting abilities. I think I'm getting better.
Tell me more.
It like jumping in on the interviews and stuff. But I think back to like Sandy Johnson and if you watch that video, I'm kind of like in the back, like doing that the whole time, and you're asking all the questions.
Just
so,
breathing heavy, just, hey, Sandy.
I loved you in Halloween 78, Sandy. No, I you know, it's a good, you know, yin yang 69 thing that, you know, us two brothers have going on here.
1-2 punch. 1-2 punch.
That's you know what? I like that way, saying it that way better when you put it that way.
Yep. We talked about this. We talked about this on the last episode. We are your way to cure the Halloween hangover. We are Halloween Lives, a podcast of Michael Myers. And dude, this is episode 14. I mean, once again, we've said this. I didn't think we'd get to this point, but just, we have not skipped a beat. We've not skipped a week. We've put out multiple videos. You're doing the mask thing. Like, dude, this, like I said, this Halloween train it's going down the road. And, again, please, if you've not subscribed, we're almost at 200 subscribers, which, again, in the grand scheme of things, that ain't shit. We know that. There's a lot more there's other podcasts out there that have way more than us, but we have some of the coolest people coming up and reaching out to us and telling us how much they love the show. And I truly believe all 200 people who are subscribed, like, listen to the show and genuinely like it. At least I hope so. So, it's been a lot of fun.
This is 145, you know, people that subscribe that aren't, you know, just all my and mom's accounts.
Yeah, it's just our mom's account. She's made 145 different accounts, so there's really not that many actually. So there's probably very few people listening to this, but we thank you if you are, and thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
This has been episode number 14 of Halloween Lives, a podcast of Michael Myers. Thank you to Connor from Creepy Customs coming on the program. We'll throw his links obviously down in the bottom. Make sure you guys check him out. If you're at all thinking about getting one, check out the unboxing video we did. You can see it on our YouTube page. We did an unboxing video and we show these in detail. Super cool dude. Awesome to talk to him. Definitely check him out. And we got a lot more in store. We've got obviously more episodes coming up. We're going to be doing this draft episode that we talked about. We're working on that still, working through some of the details. Going to be pretty badass. Going to be a lot of fun. There it is. It's the draft card. We've got draft cards made up. This is going to be next to Roger Goodell showing up. This is going to be the best draft that you have ever seen in your entire life. So,
and you don't know. He could be in the episode. You got to tune in to find out.
Call me, Roger. Give me a call. We'll get you the details, where you need to be, when you need to be there. Make sure you wear your Creepy Customs coveralls when you show up, because you gotta dress for the part. So, hey, dude, this is a fun episode. Thank you so much to Connor for joining us. Give me a totally one more time.
Shit.
Totally.
We got to work on this. We got to work on this. Give it to me one more time.
Totally.
There we go. All right.
Totally.
There we go. Hey, guys, that's enough. Thanks, guys. Halloween Lives podcast, Michael Myers. I'm Blaine Duncan. That's my brother, and we will see you guys next time.